What's going on, soul man? Welcome back to the channel. Peace and much love to all you guys. Gratitude for clicking on today's video. The other self. Let's go ahead and talk about it. So, for all you guys who are familiar with Napoleon Hill, yes, that's right. I actually have had the book for quite a while now. Now, obviously, I know you guys can't see it, but you do know what book I'm referring to. Napoleon Hill's Outwitting the Devil. And this isn't where I get all my information from either, by the way, for anybody who probably may have that thought in the back of their head. I just started reading it actually last night, and I had quite a bit of a revelation, and I want to talk to you guys about it, okay? I'm not going to be exactly citing anything from the book in his exact words, because I probably don't remember. I know that sounds ridiculous, so forgive me for that, okay? But anyways, the other self, basically what he was referring to as our higher self. It's this inner voice that we all have, you guys, okay, that constantly tries to speak to us on a day-to-day basis. And with us being humans, you know, we got emotions, we feel certain ways. Everybody's got emotions, so don't always listen to what them red pill YouTubers say. Even as a guy, we got emotions, we cry, we get upset, we get angry. However, we're just meant to control our stuff a little bit better, okay? And a lot of people, man, their judgment gets clouded and caught up with their logical mind, in essence, and compared to listening to that second voice, right? That inner voice that you normally hear when you're in a state of deep meditation. Right? Just that gut feeling, in other words. Have you guys, for an example, ever been in a situation and maybe you've been out, one of your friends was like, hey man, let's go drink. And after that, maybe y'all take a little sip, you know, catch a little buzz. This is just for an example, okay? And your friend was like, hey man, I'm gonna need you to drive me home. And y'all got another friend who's not drunk, but he wants you to. And you got that feeling like, nah man, don't do it, right? You may have heard like a slight voice. You may have just got that feeling that was telling you, no, don't do it, man. Because if you do it, something bad's going to happen. You're going to make a big mistake, okay? You guys see what I mean? Just that gut feeling, that inner knowing that's telling you yay or nay. Do this, but don't do that. Do that, but don't do this. Right? And it's perfectly fine to not know where you're going in life in the beginning, right? But it'll get to a point to where you have to make up your mind. You guys, okay? You got to figure out why it is that you're failing at certain things or what you perceive as failure, right? But really, failures are just blessings in disguise. And that's what Napoleon Hill mentioned in the book. That in everything that you perceive yourself failing at, like say if you got a job a month ago, you've had it for about 3 months now. And then all of a sudden, boom, something doesn't work out. Now you don't got that job no more. What are you going to do? Are you going to lose your mind? Right? Are you going to just see it as the end of the world? Or are you going to take it as a lesson that something for you that's greater is on the horizon, man? But what are you going to do in that present moment? In that moment, that's when you should speak to your higher self, man. That's when you should go within. Take the time off. Go to a quiet place, somewhere that is comfortable and familiar to you with no noise, and if there is, at least a very, very minimum amount of it. And talk to yourself, you guys. Go into your mind. Get into a deep state. Take a seat on the grass. Plant your feet on the ground. Go do some earthing, man, and just ask yourself, higher self, guide me. Guide me to a better path in life. What should I do next? Tell me what I need to do, right? And then when you ask yourself these questions, man, the higher self will respond. And Napoleon Hill was saying that he experienced that same thing because no matter what business it was that he went into, it just always seemed like it would never work, right? The favor would never really quite be granted to him that he was, you know, wanting it to appeal to, right? And he said there's been plenty of times to where, you know, he'd managed to start, you know, quite, a powerful business, that's really started gaining momentum. But over time, it just seemed like it wasn't satisfying him, right? It wasn't making him happy, right? It just didn't seem like something that was going to bring him long-term gratification, like, which a lot of people like to use nowadays. But in his case, it was just happiness, right? It just didn't make him happy. Yeah, he had the money. He didn't have to worry about anything. But then it got to a point to where he gave up, some of his businesses to some of his colleagues, some of his, friends and stuff like that. During his time, instead of friends, they referred to him as colleagues. And he was mentioning that, yeah, man, I had the money, I had this, I had that. I really didn't have to worry. But once I gave it up to my colleagues and let them, and pass it on to them, I passed them the torch, right? Then all of a sudden I ended up in a situation where I got scared, I got afraid, and I was trying to figure out, okay, why am I feeling like this? Why do I feel like the world is against me? Why do I feel like I can't do anything, man? Why do I feel like now it seems like my life is in shambles? Why is my logical mind taking over? And as a man, of course, you're meant to be logical and all that. But in what his current circumstance that he was in during that time, he was just saying to himself, you know what? It just came to me one day. I went out to, I forgot what he was mentioning, but somewhere in the book, I forgot what, I know it was in the second chapter, or I think it was in the first, but he was referring to himself as walking around some school district building place, where he was at in, I think, West Virginia. I may be wrong. You guys let me know in the comments, actually, if you know what it is I'm trying to refer to from the book. And a thought just out of nowhere popped up in his head, right? And he said that thought, it had a very distinct voice. I mean, it was literally him. It was himself just literally speaking to him, but it was so indistinguishable, so noticeable, right? That without a shadow of a doubt, he knew that it was what he referred to as the other self that was speaking to him and giving him literally quite, it seemed quite like a direct militant order. Like, hey, do this. Listening to nothing else. No one tells you, don't do anything else other than what I'm guiding you to do. I need you to trust me. Follow this path. And he listened to that voice, man. He listened to that inner knowing, that inner feeling, that gut feeling, his higher self that was telling him, I will guide you throughout this path, throughout this journey called life. You need not to do anything else that is outside of yourself. Okay? But see, when you start to allow your logical mind in a moment of distress, right, in hardship, dictate what path you should take in life, you'll only be making it harder for yourself, right? Because then you'll be stuck in your own head thinking about, okay, what if this happens? What if that happens? What if I end up in a predicament that I can't get out of? What am I going to do? Who am I going to depend on? And when you put yourself in a state of mind like that, then that's when you'll really start to see what you call a failure, really a failure, right? Because honestly, guys, failures are imaginary, man. All they are is temporary setbacks. Temporary. It's temporary for a reason. Life itself is temporary, okay? And I have such a deeper, greater understanding of what this man was talking about in this book. And that's probably why it's definitely up there in my top 5, and I can see why. And right here on the back of the book, guys, it actually says, now that I'm looking at it, fear is the tool of a man-made devil. And you want to know who that man-made devil is? It's you. If you allow yourself to become just that. And it all refers back to what I was saying and to what this man was saying. Shout out to Napoleon Hill. Right? Shout out to this man, because he knew that anybody could become successful in life, you guys. But it all starts up here. The only limitations that we have is in here. It's in the mind. So when you get your mind right and listen to that inner voice, that inner knowing, it will guide you throughout life. Now, does that mean it's just going to just hand everything to you? I mean, of course not, right? I mean, let's use our minds, right? But that doesn't mean that you still shouldn't listen to it just because your brain comes into the, into the matter and it says, hey, you know what? Nah, don't listen to that other voice, aka angel on the shoulder, angel on the right shoulder, devil on the left shoulder, right? What shoulder are you rocking with, man? Because I think I want to go with the right. So with all this being said, and to not, have this video be about 20 minutes, citing this man's whole book, it just really brought a revelation to me, right? I'm not necessarily saying that in a religious sense, but a revelation as it just made me realize something that I can't even really begin to fathom, you guys, because there's been times where I literally felt like my higher self was speaking to me, but instead of listening to it, trusting in it, putting my faith in it, like what Napoleon mentioned in the book, instead I went with my logical mind. Well, my logical brain, because it's the brain that comes into the matter. We are our mind, right? Our mind is literally our higher self, to what Napoleon referred to as the other self. But what he meant to say, he just didn't, I think, quite knew the term, or maybe he did, the higher self. And when I let it come into the matter, right, when I let it start to conflict me, my logical brain, then that's when I started to see myself as getting stuck, right? My mind is scattered. My thoughts are all over the place. I don't know what path to take in life, right? You tend to start giving up on yourself. And I did all these things, and now it makes so much sense. It makes perfect sense that really getting your life on track, getting your life in order is not as hard as they try to make it, you guys. I promise you. If you have not read this book, check out Napoleon Hill's Outwitting the Devil, and I guarantee you, you'll have a revelation of your own, man. So with that being said, you guys, that's all I got for this one. I definitely want to make another video because I have something else planned for you guys. And yeah, man, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I really hope you resonated with it. And if you did, take what does, leave behind what doesn't. Drop a like, not just for me, but for this man's work of art, for his wisdom and everything that he shared with the world, because no matter what, becoming successful can only be as difficult as you allow it to be. And it doesn't have to be that way, you guys, okay? It doesn't have to be that way, but you have to change your mindset. Listen to that inner voice. Right? Listen to your gut feelings, because 9 out of 10 times, it's probably telling you the truth, okay? It wants to see you happy. It wants to see you successful, but you have to want it for yourself, okay? Nothing is impossible. Our minds are infinite. We're infinite. We're light beings. We live in an electric universe, but that goes into a whole nother thing that I plan on making a video on. And with that being said, don't forget to hit that subscribe bell down below so you never miss out when I upload my next video. And be sure to share as well if you guys really want to support. Drop some comments down below also if you guys have read the book, what your favorite verse in here is, little quote, whatever. I'd really like to hear you guys' opinion on it. I absolutely love it. I'm gonna continue reading tonight. And yeah, man, see you guys in the next one. Peace and much love, blessings, gratitude for everybody being here today. See y'all in the next one, man. Much love.